How's everybody?
Hey, welcome.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for coming. It's been exciting for all of us.
Oh, this is exciting for us. We let me start first by explaining why she looks fabulous and I don't. That's how it usually is. And you guys want to go ahead and sit? Are you fine? Sandy, are you good?
Take it off.
Yeah.
We're being super awkward. Sorry.
So we have launched a single product that's getting ready to hit 11/11, and then the standalone's getting ready to hit Black Friday. So we're starting the world of promotion. So we're in LA the last 2 days. Just got home in time. Get on the plane, come here. So when we do one-on-ones, you're going to see I'm half shaved. Sorry, I stink. I'm sorry. I'm going to fix all that hopefully by showtime. And but it's good. The race is on, and now it gets started. We have a duets Christmas record coming out, so promotion again has started with Miss Yearwood and myself. Doing a lot of stuff together, but doing a lot of things apart because either way it promotes Christmas records. So I'm going to apologize for being kind of whatever it is, frazzled or loose end.
We're both a little scattered. I've been filming a cooking show in between tour dates for the last 3 weeks, so I'm also a little frazzled too. So, but we're happy to be here. We're gonna have.
Oh,
this is vacation.
This is the best time right here when you finally get to come back to play music. That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
The guys got caught in a hurricane last 2 weekends ago, right, in Orlando. So they shoved 4 nights into 2 there, back to back, and we were kind of just not on a regular every weekend kind of base playing. So any chance to get to play, you relish it. So they're going to be ready for tonight. It's going to be a fun kickoff, and it's always fun when opening night's on Friday night because people are stupid on Friday night, and it's fantastic, and that's what we want. So we're going to come out and try and do some damage tonight. Get ready for the weekend, but this is going to be fun. It's great to be back. I've already seen people here who were here last time we were here, and people who weren't born yet working here when we were here last time. So we've got to see the whole gamut of people. So that's about it. Is there anything we have to specifically go over before we can start Q&A? So nothing's not legal. Whatever you want to talk about, we can talk about. But we do find it's a lot more fun if we talk with you than at you. So the only request is if you have a question that we can go over, please just identify yourself so we'll know who we're speaking with. Please, yes, sir.
My name's Tim. I'm with WSAZ, and I just have to ask you, yes, Tim, being married to a performer, another successful performer, being married, how wonderful is it, and yet at the same time, how much does it help both of you grow together as performers?
I can speak for myself in being, as far as a performer, I'm a lot different than Garth as far as I'm a little more low key. The last time that I played here, I played the Clay Performing Arts Center. Yeah. And so I'm a little more low key, and so this experience in particular, I've toured with Garth before, but I opened both times. This is the first tour where I've actually been a part of his show, in the middle of his show. There's an energy that he creates on stage that is not that natural for me, and so I have, as far as a performer, I feel like I have really learned a lot on this tour, and I feel like just from singing to here to having to sing this way has really made me a better performer, I think, and I'll be interested to go back and play theater and see what it feels like, because I think it will only help me to even feel more comfortable. I've always loved to sing, but performing was not always so easy for me. So that's been great. And then just to be married to someone who is the most successful artist in the history of artists, there's something to learn every day, just about how to do your business, how to treat people, how to really, I think the biggest thing, to how to follow your gut and do what feels right to you, even if everybody else doesn't think it's the right idea. Not to be afraid to do that. I'd rather talk nice about you without you being here, but.
It's very sweet of you. Everything but the performance piece I will agree with her. She already had the business savvy. She just didn't know that you could do it in music because I've seen her do it in the cooking world. Cooking world, she took it like a duck to water, knew exactly, and I said, man, why don't you just transfer all the way you think into the music world, and never thought of the two as the same. One of them's business and one of them is more of a art for her. For me, I'm one of those guys that believes if you're going to break your back and you're going to write and you're going to record, you're going to do this for the music's sake like artists do, then you do owe it to that music to promote it, to make sure you're not asking people to buy it, you're just making them aware of it. Because that music can change their lives. It's saved my life. Other people's music has saved my life, and a lot of them have been album cuts that weren't singles, you know. So I think music's very, very important. If you follow us on a day-to-day basis, let's say we go to a radio station, you come around the hall, I'm the first guy to come around the hall, you're going to get, Garth, yeah baby, woo! Yeah, and then when she comes around, it's like, oh. Everybody kind of stands up a little straighter, right? And it's kind of pretty cool that way. So you'll see tonight on stage, ours is going to be really loose. If we're going to make a mistake, you're going to hear it because it's going to be really loud. But when she comes on, watch the band. Even the band will just kind of stand up a little straighter. It'll sound like a totally different band. And they, so it's cool. As an artist, she pushes me to try to be better. Spoiler alert, she has the highlight of the show, which pisses me off because I'm competitive, right? So this whole tour I've worked to try and get that somehow. But if tonight's like Orlando and the city before, then she'll have the highlight of it. I cry every time. And I've seen it. This is our 270-something show on this tour, and I bawl like a baby on that. It's beautiful. Yes, ma'am.
Amanda, there, WSC.
Amanda?
Yes,
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Come over here.
Sorry,
You're squeaking so
I know when I
bad. Come over
pace,
here.
you can't pace
Come
on
over
this
here,
side.
pace on this
Okay.
side. Sounds so
It's a solid thing.
I think it's better.
Since you guys announced that you were coming here, you've created a buzz in the city that's just been unmatched. And your music, both of you guys, it transcends people's lives. What does it mean to you guys in your heart to know that your music has touched so many different parts of so many different people's walks of life?
There's been some revelation on this tour. For me, it's the other artists, in particular what I'm getting ready to talk about when you talk about which touch people's lives. I had no idea how big of a song, How Do I Live, was and is. And when you think about it, there was a Leanne Rimes version that was the #1 on pop things. Trisha's #1 on the country thing. They both are up for a Grammy. It's the title to a movie, right? And so I don't think I ever really knew how much that song affected, but when you said a generation, the sweetest gift that we found on this tour is it's actually 2 generations. Here they come. Ticketmaster is telling us 48%, half of this arena tonight, 10 years old or not even born yet last time we were touring. But yet, they know she's in love with the boy like the back of their hand. I don't know how they do it. I don't, but that's the one song in the whole show that I get to play. I just sit and play. I just stand and play. So I get to watch now, finally, right? Instead of being the guy, you get to watch. Unbelievable how many people, no matter what age, knows that. Guys, girls, it doesn't matter. Opening week in Chicago, there was a guy, about the third night, looked at him. His neck was bigger than my waist. He's sitting back there. He's got an orange headband on. He's got his sleeves cut out. 13-year-old, I'm working him all night. I can't get anything. I'll be damned. She's in love with the boy. He's out there. She's in love with the boy. I'm like, you got him. So I think that's what's cool. Get to see that from my perspective for her, and then, you know, for me, when you see these signs that says, I came here with my mom, so I brought my daughter. I came with my mom last time. I brought my daughter this time. That's pretty sweet.
I love for the same thing. You know, I think you expect, you know the songs that people are going to go crazy on. You know the dance. You know Friends in Low Places. I love this when Garth does this thing. Sometimes he'll do this house cleaning. People bring a sign and he'll do a piece of a song. It might be an album cut. It might be a song that wasn't, you know, a single. Or it might be something that he just doesn't do every night, you know. And to watch everybody in that arena know those songs too, I think that really speaks volumes for an artist. My favorite was in Orlando. There was a guy there with a sign for American Honky Tonk Bar Association, and he'd had it up all night long. And when you played that song, I don't know how well you could see him, but I watched him he was just so happy and dancing and singing every word, and as was everybody else in the building. So I think it's pretty cool. As fans of music, it's hard to admit or say that you could ever think that somebody can feel that way about your music that you felt about your heroes. I can't imagine somebody feeling about my music the way I feel about Linda Ronstadt, for example. But I get the chance to see it every night. It's pretty cool. I'm good. I got it. I might need it.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm Hillary with Channel 13 here
Hi,
in
Miss Hillary.
Charleston. Garth, my mom and dad saw you in concert. I might have been one of your first at the West Virginia State Fair.
Yes, ma'am. We were
And,
talking about the state fair coming up.
and I know, just to be a little more West Virginia specific, people here love you guys. I mean,
Very
love
sweet.
you both. To get to come here and I can only imagine feel that love on the stage. What is that like?
God, I wish I could explain it to you. It's the most wonderful thing, but what I also love, there's even more of a magic there. They show up, and this tour, I mean, they're showing up in numbers like we couldn't have ever imagined. They're showing up with a great attitude, but they let you be a part of it. Who gets that? Any artist comes out here, you got your job, you do your thing. They don't want you to do your job. They want you to start a song and then kind of get out of the way and be part of the group, you know? And everybody sings. And it's wonderful. We're in Dallas. We've got 7 nights in Dallas, something like that. We'll show 5, it's gone. Nothing. We're thinking about canceling and trying to I mean, this is the first time this tour we've ever thought about canceling or rescheduling. I go out there, I said, I don't know what's going to come out. Here we go. Nothing came out. They had the best time because they finally didn't have to get out of the way. We know these songs. We got this. And it was one of the best nights I've ever had. It was so much fun. So I think if you do your job right 5 minutes into it, it's a party instead of a concert. That's what we're doing. Yes, ma'am.
Oh, we saw you earlier this week when Randy Travis sang
Ooh.
Amazing Grace when he was inducted into the Country Music Hall of Fame, and your head just tilted
So
back.
sorry, yes.
What was going through your mind?
I was an emotional wreck. I was worn out. They told me his only goal was to climb the stairs.
To accept his award. He wasn't supposed to even.
I've never seen him out of a wheelchair. We saw him at the ACM's 50th since a stroke. When he stood up, I started losing it. Now he's coming to the top of the stairs, and they say, you know, you're the only guy at the top of the stairs, so if he doesn't make it, you got it. But I was raised to be like that man, so I know in his head, his whole goal, he's going to make it to the top of the stairs, and no one's going to help him. So I'm sitting there. You can imagine. I'm just. And when he hits that top step, I just lose it. So then they bring him over to the podium, and somebody slides a chair out for him. He looks right at him. I'm calm. Inside, man, I'm just calm.
And
So
his
then-
wife spoke on behalf of them, and it was a while. He stood for probably 10 minutes. It was, yeah.
So Miss Mary's doing her thing, and you can tell it's everything he's asked her to say, because he's doing this. And I'm against the wall, and I'm thinking, when Cindy was there, I go, were you an emotional wreck? She was wiped out as well.
I think everybody was.
Then here came the surprise. Randy Travis wants to sing. Something I never thought I'd hear again. And even though his diction was slurred a little, he still did those Randy Travis choice of notes that no one else goes to, even on Amazing Grace. And so, of course, I go back against the wall because now I'm dead. And that's the shot they take. I look like I'm in a casket. And that's the shot they take. But golly, that was one of the most incredible moments I'll ever know, because that man's why I'm in music. That man is why I stand here in front of you today. That man's why I'm married to this woman. I mean, a lot of things happened once Randy Travis opened his mouth and sang into a microphone that changed everything for country music and the people that we follow. Yes, sir.
I'm Jim with the State Journal.
Hey, Jim. Nice to meet you. Hang on, Jim. You did not identify yourself.
I know. I just
Should we get the same idea?
My name's Leslie Rubin. I'm with WCHS.
Leslie, thank you very much. Thank you, Jim. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. Lots changed in the music industry. People used to buy albums, CDs. Is it more important to perform live because you're kind of losing that connectivity with fans, or they lose connectivity with you because they're downloading music and not really seeing a face anymore? Is it more important to tour?
It's a great question. Because connectivity, I'm sorry, Miss Yearwood, would you like to answer? I'm just kind of rambling.
No,
sorry.
you go ahead. I'm interested to see what you're going to say.
Just connectivity. Connectivity, that's a great word, because connectivity, I think we're probably more connected than we've ever been.
That's what I would say.
But can you be more connected than you've ever been and still not know much about the artist as you did when you got the liner notes? When you ate up everything that that artist did, if they were going to be on The Tonight Show, whatever, you made sure you spent your time to do that before you could see it later on Facebook or before it was casual. You know what I mean? When everyone tuned in to see the big on the Elvis Presley, on the Sullivan Show. It's a great point.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think with social media, we are connected in a way now, especially if you engage on social media with fans in a way that is more personal than we ever were. But at the same time, you know, there aren't those events. I mean, I would wait for my favorite artists' records to come out, and I would be at the store that day, and I would read those liner notes, and I would listen to every song, and I would know the key the next song was going to start in. And some of the most important songs on albums I know as an artist are the songs that are not singles, and so those album cuts are just as important on that record as the singles. And I think I mostly feel sad for like our children who don't really know that feeling. They just have a different way of listening, and things do change. I do think social media allows us to if we want, like if I want you to hear an album cut and I want you to know why it's important to me, I can put it on social media and I can get it to you, and you will know something about that song that you might not have known otherwise. It's just a different beast, and you just got to figure out how to do it.
Yeah, there's good and bad to everything. You know, my dad would always say, whatever's a blessing is a curse, whatever's a curse is a blessing. So the blessing of social media is I think you get to know the artist probably in a way that you would never have got to before because they were protected by agents or PR people. The curse is you're going to get to know these people in a way you never did before, and the PR people hate that, you know, because you're going to get to see the real side on some of these rants and stuff of these people. So it's a two-edged sword, of course. Great question.
Carrie, I'm with Metro News Radio.
Hi, Carrie.
Hi. You obviously stepped away for a long time to take care of your kids. First of all, what was that like? And second of all, how tough of a decision was that for you to make?
Well, it wasn't tough at all. The decision was kind of made for me. When they gave me Taylor, I don't know, before you were born, I did a interview with Barbara Walters. Talked about retiring then. And but I told Taylor that by the time she was 6, I'd be out. It was 8. She was 8. I knew I was gone, but also Sandy and I were getting divorced, so I couldn't have somebody else carry my load for me anymore. And so here came the moment of truth. My folks were at everything when I was a kid. Whether I started or not, whether I ever played a down football or ever took the field in baseball in any game, they were always there. So I wanted to I know how much that meant to me. I wanted that to be for my children as well. So going home was the best decision, easiest decision I ever made, and that was all for me. It was very selfish. Every second you got to be with those babies. It's wonderful. But we joke about it all the time because I'm so proud. We're so proud. We were at every practice, every rehearsal, every soccer game. They tell the story. Oh my God, they were at every practice, so I think it's just how two people see things. But that was the greatest thing, the greatest gift I've ever received in my life, was from God and the people to get to go home and do it. And there's not a parent in here that wouldn't have made the same decision if they were financially set to do so in their career to do so. I will be honest, I thought I was done here. I never thought they'd let me back in. I didn't think the industry would. And I didn't think that the people, we'd all move on. We just didn't. So, second greatest gift I ever got is the fact that they showed up. Pretty cool. Yes, sir.
Hi, Brad from MetroNews.com.
Hey, Brad.
You're going to be in our town for a few days, so welcome.
Thank you.
But will you get a chance to nose around local shops or do something fun? You want us to brainstorm with you?
Yeah, tell us what we should do.
You got to start with eating, because brother, that's. So, what's the best place to eat?
Well,
what's the local thing that's the?
What's the thing you have to try?
Probably from your hotel, if you're going to do brunch tomorrow, I'd say Black Sheep Burrito.
Yeah.
Anyone agree or disagree?
Black sheep burrito.
Black sheep
I'm not a
burrito.
paid
Really?
sponsor.
All
All
right.
right.
What about barbecue? What about pizza?
Them two brothers.
DEM, them two brothers.
Them two
And
brothers
the
barbecue.
best barbecue
Right.
ever.
Pizza.
Pies and pies.
Oh,
Everything.
Ron.
See, that's what I'm talking about right there.
Yeah.
Sangria, sangria from Lola's.
Yes.
Pizzeria.
There's like, there's 50 some of us, let's see, because.
You're not gonna fit in Lowell.
And for some reason, the only color they bring, I don't know why, it must be a curse, it must be the law, but all we bring is black. So we're like this little black cloud moving across, and you can't hide us. And we do everything together, we're a team.
All right.
So when you guys were, if anyone was here in 92, anybody was here in 97, more than half that crew was here in 92 and 97. You'll see it, it's all the original guys, same band members. You know, they have tried to move, they've changed their number, I've still found them. They cannot get away, they signed on for life. So we do everything together. So yeah, we'll be moving around, but you'll see us. We have a kids camp, I think this week too as well, so we'll be out and about. Yes, ma'am.
Sorry, I know that's you.
Are you fine?
Go ahead.
Okay, I'm Julie with the Expo Telegram in North Central West Virginia,
Hi,
part of my
Julie.
voice. You talked a little bit about why you were away. I want to know what's different now about touring, what you find different in your audiences, and what's different about you as performers.
Wow. I think you're the one's probably changed the most in performing. For me, simply because I didn't think you were comfortable in arenas in the 90s. We had 2 tours in the 90s together. First time we ever had an opening act, it was Trisha Yearwood. First time Trisha was ever an opening act for anybody, it was Garth Brooks. So we've kind of started since day one together.
I was a singing stick. I really was. I got to review that. Somebody called me a singing stick, and they were totally right. Because I would just stand there. And you know, with Garth, it's like you're the opening act. Usually, if you're an opening act on a big tour, you're there's usually more than one act opening, and you're in the front, and you've got this much space, and there's a curtain because they don't want to reveal the stage. But this guy's like, oh no, use the whole stage. I'm like, no, really, I don't. I really would be good for this right here. And I had She's in Love the Boy was out. It's the only single I had, and I had a 20-minute show, which is a really long time when you have no hits. And I would just wait to sing that song, and I was pretty scared to death. I think that the question about what's changed is you talk a lot about, you know, with the girls being grown and on their own and flying and living their own lives, they're all in college and grown up, that you don't have to leave home and worry and feel guilty about leaving them because they're doing their own thing now. So there's a lot more freedom and laughter because you're not thinking about what you're not taking care of, you know, back at home.
Yeah, that was one of the things that when you ask about going on with the babies, one of the things you didn't know, that if this would happen again, how great you felt about not being guilty. Let's start again. Forgive me for bringing up the past so much, but in the 90s, me and Sandy are married, there's no cell phones. Sometimes it'd be 10 days before I ever called. That's horrible. There were no cell phones, it wasn't easy. Then when the kids came, I felt really guilty, you know? So yeah, to get to tour, your babies are healthy, thank God. They're all 3 in college, even though we're trying to get the oldest one out, right? So they're all 3 in college, and they're having a great time. It's their turn. So they're so busy, so we text. You're traveling the world with the love of your life and your best friend, with your buddies that you started this whole thing with music that is proven that it is standing the test of time. And the people that were there before are now back, and guess what the other half of the arena is? Their children. That's pretty good. So that's a huge difference for me. And crowd-wise, it used to be Europe. Europe had the thing on. You'd start, well, his eyes are cold and restless, and you wouldn't hear yourself the rest because they'd sing it, right? And here comes, yeah, we're two of a kind. It's gone, right? Well, over here, they weren't that way. Now, I don't know if it's karaoke or what, but the inhibitions to sing anymore are gone. So they love to sing, and I'll know three lines into the song tonight, whether these people have come to sing or I'm going to have to get them to that. You're going to have to work with that as entertainers. I have a feeling that this is going to be just stupid fun, and it's going to be more stupid fun as we get goes.
Thank you.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I have another question. I just have to ask this. Will you ever, it's kind of a funny question, will you ever fly across the crowd like on a cable like you did years ago?
No.
Not on purpose.
No. There's things you do when you're young and stupid. Then when you're older and stupid, you don't do those anymore. But also just the weight difference. I'm 50 pounds heavier than I was then, and I'm being modest. I'm probably like 70 pounds heavier than I was then. So that stuff I don't, and you know, they tell you by federal law or something, it has to fly 10 times your weight. But still, no thank you. I was petrified to do it then, but I thought it would look cool on film. And it did look cool on film. I was scared to death. Scared to death.
He still does some crazy things out there.
But
There's
not on
still-
purpose, again, not on purpose.
We'll still get in the car after some shows, and I'm like, okay, are you bleeding? Because I saw what happened, and like, you still take some chances out there.
It's just, the music inspires you to have fun. Yes, sir.
Bill Lynch, Charleston Gazette Mail.
Bill?
Bill,
Nice
yeah.
to meet you.
Nice to meet you. I guess the question I've been wondering about is your thoughts on Bob Dylan and I guess the Nobel Prize. Was Taylor Swift robbed?
What?
Okay.
What are your
You
thoughts
had me
on
all
Bob
the way up to the
Dylan?
end, because I don't know you well enough, Bill, I thought. You know, I don't know. I can tell you that literature is the foundation in which we writers, of course, stand on. But to bypass lyric, maybe write it off as not literature, I think is a crime as well. If there is, I'll just put it this way, if there is anybody in our society that would be up for that award, it would be Dylan.
I agree 100%.
And one of the things, my daughter is in this, she loves music, so she's going to school for music. But what my daughter needs to learn is a lot of things, as we all do. But she also needs to learn that there are singers and there are communicators. And if you have to pick which one you want to be a communicator. That's it. Whether you've got a great voice or not isn't as important as whether I am sitting here touching you right now, heart to heart. That's what's important. Dylan is a communicator.
I was so happy I think it's well deserved. He's a poet.
And I think it makes the Nobel people, I think it makes them look very,
Pretty cool.
yeah, I think it was cool, but also open-minded. I like that. I mean, they're finding the stuff in art, which is what you should do.
You had another.
Yeah, I wanted to ask, it says stuff a lot about you guys, that the same people have been working with you for so long. You talk about being a communicator, but obviously part of being a good communicator is being a good leader as well. What's your leadership advice to other people? You're doing something right.
It was Amanda, right?
Treat people the way you want to be treated.
That's it. You want to know the secret to marketing? Treat people the way you want to be treated. You want the secret to business? Treat people the way you want to be treated. That's it.
I also think, I don't know, we've never talked about this, but as an artist, you're kind of, especially if you've become a little bit successful, you're almost encouraged to separate yourself from everybody because it's what people do, celebrities do. They have handlers, and it's kind of like, oh, you don't need to do that anymore, I'll do that. And I think both of us were raised very similarly in our families where we shared the workload in our families no matter what. And long after we had #1 records, you never got a pass because you had done something, so I think there's a mentality. I often say that I don't always do the right thing, but I know what the right thing is because of how I was raised. I think that's it. I really think that's the bottom line.
That's a great statement. I've heard you say it, but I guess it just sunk in just 2 seconds ago.
A lot of things
You don't-
happen that
yeah,
way.
I know. Yeah, that's good. I know I might not always do the right thing, but I know what the right thing is. Agreed, from your parents. And I think also it's just basically never ask anybody what you would not do yourself. I think a lot of times when things get sideways with us as people, is our own insecurities. And I think if you just look in the mirror and just go, hey man, you're trying your best, but you're going to have to forgive yourself and let yourself go when trying your best ain't good enough. Or it doesn't represent you well, as long as you're trying your best. That's all we can expect. So, this whole issue, it seems as we get older, not as older, as time's going right now, issue between skin color, sexual preference, all these tensions, I think it's because we think we know what this person. I think I know this woman inside and out. But the truth is, I know nothing except what she's told me. So I don't know when she went home if something horrible happened every time those lights went out in her house or something didn't. And so your best buddy, you think you know him, but what happens when you leave and he goes to his house and you go to yours after school? You don't know what that kid's going through. But yet we think I know what somebody that has a different skin color or different sexual preference is going. How would I know that? So just love, tolerance, patience. One of the greatest lines in the Olympics this year. Patience is an action. I never thought of it that way. Patience, patience, patience. Yes, ma'am.
I'm Kelly Bell with West Virginia State University.
Hi, Kelly.
You just
What do you
received-
do with the university?
I am a student journalist.
Very good. I was a student journalist. We weren't in the same conference at that time, but we are now. I'm an Oklahoma Stater. So I was a student journalist in Oklahoma State.
My question is, you just received your 7th Diamond Award.
Yes, ma'am.
What is it like knowing you out, just all the other artists out there, how you
I don't know. You don't have to know me very well to know that I'm never at a loss for words. I don't know what to say. I think the reason why I've never been at a loss for words is because my heroes have always just seen how they did things. And if you were lucky enough to do the same thing, you just kind of reacted the way they did. But it's never happened. Pretty cool. I'm proud for country music. Really, really proud for country music. And what is it, Monday? This Monday, for the first time in history, we're going to see all 7 diamonds sitting in the same place in Nashville at the party. And I got to tell you, with each one that they add, I'm going to cry a little harder. But when all 7 are those out there, it might hit me. You want to leave me your number? I'll tell you exactly what I feel when I'm there. But right now, I tell you what. You give me your number before we leave. I will either text it to you or tell you after Monday. Because I don't know.
We had a champagne party to celebrate when it was announced. We were in Fresno.
Champagne party? We had like a World Series kind of Super Bowl party.
By champagne party, I mean the whole room about this size was plastic from ceiling to floor, and there were probably 200 bottles of champagne. It was like we'd won the World Series, and everybody had goggles, and I wasn't thinking the champagne would be cold, but it was very cold, and everybody got covered. It was a great celebration, well deserved. You know, it's like when you were talking about how people don't buy records that much anymore. It's more of an accomplishment now than ever. I mean, to sell 10 million records on one album, who does that? Who does that 6 times? The Beatles did it 6 times. The Eagles have 3. I mean, it's amazing. He can't talk about himself like that, but 7 diamonds, it's just unheard of. And so it deserves to be celebrated and continue to be celebrated. And we're going to be celebrating this for a long time.
So 2 brothers in a boat in Texas, a year ago, you can look it up. This little boy catches the Texas bass record. When quoting the little boy that was with him, there's a quote I'll give you. That was a once in a lifetime experience. And how many times does that happen? Very sweet. Thank you. Yes, sir.
Do you guys take into consideration the economic impact that you have on a city like Charleston when you come in for 3 days? So when you're planning ahead for things like this?
They'll send management numbers and stuff for that. So you talking about what it does for the city? Yeah, it's very sweet. It's very sweet, and I'm so happy. Happy for the hotels. Not happy for those hotels that jam them through the roof because they can. I'm happy for those businesses that continue business and enjoy, hopefully, a surge. It's very sweet. And all built on what? On what my dad, and God bless him, and he was right, and I'd say the same thing if I was him. On not a real job. You know? My dad was Marine, Korean War veteran, hard-working, kid-loving man. He always kept asking me when I was going to get a real job. And I think I'm starting to know what he means. Because the last time I worked for a living, I was 23 and I was roofing houses. This is really nice. Do you ever think about the impact?
I mean, we've talked about it in other cities, and I agree with you. It's like you hope that people are keeping their prices the same, and they're shopping more. They're enjoying it.
Everybody getting together. It's very sweet. There was one more hand. Yes, you. Sorry, there's a couple. Go ahead.
You were done.
Yes.
I live with a house full of athletes, and if they're having a winning season, they have to make sure they do the same thing over, wear the same socks or whatever. As a former
Amen,
athlete
sister.
and an entertainer, do you have any rituals that you like to do before a show or something?
Yes. People think that superstition is a lack of faith. I don't think it hurts to have them both, actually. So, yeah, there are superstitions. There are things you carry in your locker, always. We were lucky enough to be named the Artist of the Decade of the 90s. And so we had kind of like the rings made. Well, 3 people from that team have passed away in the last 15 years. Those 3 rings travel with me, so we can all guess it. Little things. Somebody will bring you something that's good luck charm. Buckeyes, for some reason. I don't know why, but ever since we first started out, because Ohio, we played there all the time. Buckeyes kind of came, and so Buckeyes still come. They travel with us. Just stuff like that. Special letters from her, or half of a movie ticket from something that we went to. Those things. I know I'm now really sounding savvy, but those are good little things that you carry.
Is Ghost Tunes going to go away now that
Great
the new
question.
deals are there with Amazon and with Sirius?
Great
Or
question.
is that going to stick around?
Well, here's the deal. So let's take 2 phases. One, when it comes to Garth Brooks and Ghost Tunes, it has some promises that it needs to fulfill in business. So it's going to be alive with Garth Brooks through January 1, but no new business. It's just ending old business things we had promised for people that had the bundle and stuff. We're going to complete that. There's some Fritos bags going around. We're going to complete that. And there are some Ghost Tunes gift cards going around that expire January 1st. So January 1st with cards. Then the question is going to be, do you keep it up for the other artists that believe that they should price their own stuff? And what has happened was with Amazon has the same music values that we do. So they believe the copyright owner, whoever that is, a label usually, can depict if it's album or single or both, and what the price is. And if it's too high, people won't buy it. I mean, it's a regular, it's a regular pricing thing. So that was my only complaint. That's why I never got to get in with iTunes. They have 2 rules that I just go, wait a minute, that shouldn't be your call. One is they're going to tell me what I'm going to price my stuff at. They tell every artist. And 2, they're going to do singles. They have to do singles. You don't have a say in it. No one's ever going to tell me. I'm finding out every sell another album from this day forward. Nobody's ever going to tell me I'm going to do my music and what I'm going to ask for it. So that's why this company was created. Amazon shares those views, so whether this goes on or not after January 1st, for other people, we decided January 1st we're going to stay. Thank you for getting the chance to get to explain that. Very sweet. Aaron, I think we got everybody's questions. You want to do the
Yep.
one-on-ones?
You guys just want to